People always said Prince Harry wears his heart on his sleeve, and that was true. But lately, that same heart looks cracked open. Those close to him say he's not just emotional anymore, he's unraveling. He's barely sleeping, pacing the halls at night, scrolling through every rumor online like a man bracing for impact. And then one night, the night everything shifted, he broke. According to a legal consultant who's worked closely with the Sussex team, Harry finally let the truth spill out, a truth that had been eating him alive. He said Meghan never carried their children. The fairy tale version the world was fed? That was Meghan's version, the one he went along with because he thought it would protect their family. But instead of protecting it, that secret became the heaviest weight of his life, a secret so suffocating it's now destroying him from the inside out. People inside the palace say he's a shadow of himself, haunted, hollow-eyed, and trapped between guilt and fear. And that's when the illusion began to crack. Because once a secret like that starts leaking, there's no stopping it. And right at the center of that storm stands one woman, the one they all tried to erase. She goes by the name DL. That's not her real name. Of course, her identity's been protected for legal reasons, but DL isn't whispering anymore. She says she's not just a surrogate, she's the biological mother of both Archie and Lilibet. She claims she has DNA results, documents, emails, and hospital files, proof of everything Meghan and Harry allegedly buried. For years, DL lived in silence. Bound by iron-tight NDAs, she was told never to speak, never to show her face, never to exist publicly. She was promised protection and payment, but according to her, she got neither. No final compensation, no check-ins, no recognition, just silence. She says she was erased, but not anymore, not this time. To understand how DL ended up at the center of the most explosive royal scandal in decades, we have to rewind to late 2018. Back then, DL says she was approached through an intermediary tied to a high-end fertility clinic, one that specialized in discreet arrangements for wealthy clients who wanted absolute secrecy. The message was short and simple. A high-profile couple needed help. The deal sounded straightforward. Privacy guaranteed. Generous compensation. No connection to the children. Ever. She signed the NDAs. She entered the system. Every step was managed in silence. Even the clinic staff reportedly knew almost nothing, just that confidentiality was non-negotiable. DL followed every instruction, and when she finally delivered, she says she was pushed right out of the story she'd helped create. That's when things started turning dark. Because what DL says happened next doesn't just shake the Sussex narrative, it could rewrite royal history. When Archie was born in May 2019, the world saw glowing headlines, smiling faces, and a couple celebrating privacy over pomp. But DL swears the truth was hidden. According to her, Archie was already 2 weeks old when Harry and Meghan stepped out for that first photo call. 2 weeks. Which means the breaking news moment that Meghan had gone into labor and given birth was staged. DL claims she had delivered him quietly in Colorado, far away from royal photographers and frantic press. No dramatic hospital rush, no flashing bulbs. Just a private birth followed by a carefully timed illusion. Meanwhile, across the ocean, palace statements were curiously vague. Meghan was in labor and then, minutes later, she had already given birth. It made no sense, but no one questioned it. Everyone assumed the Sussexes were simply choosing privacy. But DL says it wasn't privacy, it was performance. A perfectly choreographed rollout designed to make Meghan look like she had just given birth without ever having done so. And people noticed, even back then, how radiant Meghan looked. How she stood tall in heels just 2 days after labor. No fatigue, no discomfort, no trace of the struggle mothers usually carry. At the time, the media called it grace, but if DL's story holds, that glow wasn't recovery, it was just makeup over a secret. If what DL claims is true, then the deception wasn't limited to appearances. It went deeper into the paperwork itself. She says her name was scrubbed from all medical files, the discharge forms, the birth certificate, everything on strict orders that no trace of her involvement could exist. No signature, no record, no witness. That's what she says she was told. And when you look back, even official documents raise eyebrows. Months after Archie's birth, Meghan's name was suddenly removed from his birth certificate. At the time, her camp called it a clerical correction. But now, with DL's version surfacing, it looks like a desperate move to tidy up details that didn't match. DL says the clinic, the intermediaries, even the payment records, everything was designed to make her invisible. She wasn't just cut off emotionally, she was deleted legally. And yet, she didn't delete her proof. She kept everything, the NDAs, the financial transfers, the emails, even the clinic receipts. She kept them because she believed her silence would be honored, because she trusted she'd be treated fairly. But when the silence turned into abandonment, she decided to stop being invisible, and with that one decision, the entire royal birth narrative started crumbling. This isn't just a private dispute anymore, it's a legal and constitutional nightmare. Because if Meghan didn't carry Archie or Lilibet, and no official surrogacy disclosure was made under UK law, that changes everything: their royal status, their titles, even their line of succession. Royal succession isn't symbolic, it's legal. Every birth, every name, every certificate must be traceable. A hidden surrogate breaks that chain entirely. And inside Buckingham Palace, sources say there's panic, quiet but real panic. Here's why. First, the children's royal titles could be legally challenged. If Meghan wasn't the mother on record, their claim under succession law becomes shaky. Second, any forged or altered paperwork could mean accusations of fraud. Third, Parliament might need to intervene, and some members are already asking why the births were never independently verified. And fourth, and maybe most damning, international records could crumble too. If Lilibet's U.S. birth registration lists inaccurate maternal details, that's not just a scandal, that's a legal minefield. At this point, it's no longer a question of did Meghan carry the children? It's a question of whether the monarchy itself was misled and whether the people were. Behind those palace walls, lawyers are reportedly working through nights, reviewing every scrap of documentation tied to the Sussex births. Because if DL really does have what she says, emails, hospital logs, financial records, it won't just embarrass the royals. It could change their history. And as the rumors grow, Meghan Markle's once loud public presence has turned to eerie silence. No speeches, no polished photo shoots, no surprise appearances, not even a simple statement. People close to her say she's gone into a self-imposed lockdown, not out of calm control, but out of sheer calculation. Hollywood producers who once begged for her name on projects are now quietly stepping back. Not out of hate, but out of fear. No one wants to stand too close to a possible royal implosion. And Meghan, a woman who's always fought to control her story, suddenly seems paralyzed by it. Her silence doesn't sound powerful anymore. It sounds terrified. Insiders from her media circle summed it up bluntly. She's not quiet because she wants to be. She's quiet because she has to be. Because if DL really walks forward with her evidence, Meghan's next move won't just shape her career, it could define her entire legacy. Meanwhile, Harry, poor Harry, looks completely broken. Friends say he's barely recognizable. He's anxious, short-tempered, isolated. He spends hours alone, staring at nothing. They say guilt is tearing him apart, not guilt for using a surrogate, but guilt for lying about it, for helping build a story he knew wasn't true. One friend claims they heard him mutter, almost to himself, "I just wanted to protect my family. I didn't think it would go this far." And those words haunt everything now because that's the heartbreaking truth. Harry thought he was protecting his family, but the illusion he built is collapsing. And this time, he can't hold it up. As Harry's world starts closing in, DL is doing the exact opposite, stepping out of the shadows. Her team says she's ready. Ready to speak, ready to show everything, ready to finally reveal the truth she says was buried under NDAs, fear, and royal secrecy. And what she claims to have isn't gossip anymore, it's evidence. Signed confidentiality contracts. Financial transfers linked to the Sussex Trust. Email chains between her and members of Harry's legal circle. Fertility clinic records. A hospital bill with her name where Meghan should have been. Even photos from inside medical rooms and travel logs matching the exact dates of Archie and Lilibet's births. If even half of that is real, it's enough to light a legal firestorm on 2 continents. Rumors say DL has already been approached by several major networks for an exclusive tell-all, a raw, unedited sit-down with no handlers, no filters, just her, the documents, and the truth. A broadcast like that wouldn't just be another interview. It would be detonation day for the Sussex narrative, a public explosion that no PR team could spin, no royal statement could control. For Meghan and Harry, this isn't just bad press. It's a countdown. The moment DL steps in front of a camera, everything they've built, every interview, every Netflix documentary, every Reclaiming Our Story speech turns to dust. Because when hard proof walks into the room, emotion and spin stop working. Inside Buckingham Palace, silence reigns. No denials, no confirmations, just quiet panic. Advisors are reportedly holding crisis meetings through the night, strategizing in whispers, terrified of what happens if DL's files check out. Because if she's telling the truth, then history doesn't just get rewritten, it gets overturned. And thousands of miles away in Montecito, their mansion is silent too. Sources close to staff say the atmosphere is heavy, tense. Meghan barely leaves her room. Harry wanders the halls, sleepless, whispering to himself like a man replaying every choice he's ever made. This isn't the confident prince who once stood up to the press. This is a man haunted by the fear that the story he created to protect his family might now destroy it. Friends say the guilt is unbearable. He trusted the illusion. He helped shape it. And now, he's watching it collapse brick by brick while the world waits to see what remains. Meanwhile, DL.com, composed, eyes forward, stands on the edge of something far bigger than scandal. She knows that once she speaks, there's no going back. She'll be the woman who cracked the royal code of silence, the one who forced a centuries-old institution to face the truth it buried. And that's the terrifying beauty of it all, because this isn't about Meghan's PR or Harry's heartbreak anymore. It's about lineage, legitimacy, truth, the three things that hold the British monarchy together. For years, the Sussex story was sold as a modern fairy tale. Love conquers duty, freedom over tradition, honesty above all else. But now, that same story looks like a mirage, a glossy screen hiding a fracture no one wanted to see. Because when you strip away the cameras, the smiles, and the rehearsed compassion, what's left are just three people, Harry, Meghan, and DL, bound together by a secret that's no longer willing to stay hidden. And as the world holds its breath, the question isn't if the truth will come out, it's when. Because once evidence meets daylight, even the grandest illusions tremble. Somewhere tonight, behind closed palace doors, advisors whisper. In California, a prince paces. And somewhere else, calm, steady, determined, a woman prepares to press record. And when she does, everything changes.